In this session, let's discuss about OData. OData stands for Open Data Protocol, and it was initially developed by Microsoft, but it is an open source protocol, and many of the major vendors have invested in this technology, and they are actively supporting it. And even SAP also has invested in this technology, and SAP also supports OData. All the latest UI technologies such as SAP UI5 Fiori provide an easy way to work with these OData services. So in your SAP system, you can expose your business data as an OData service, which can be consumed by these front-end applications such as SAP UI5 or Fiori. And many of the major frameworks or programming languages have also developed these libraries using which you can easily consume these OData services. So if you actually go to this OData website, odata.org, and look at the libraries. So you have many libraries for .NET, Java, JavaScript. Under JavaScript, you also see OpenUI5, which is an open source version of SAP UI5. So they provide a library using which you can easily consume these OData services or call these OData services to perform various actions. And they also support something called data binding, where once you link an OData service, and if you change any data in the front end, it will automatically push those changes to the model layer. So I'd like to believe that in future, OData is going to become even more popular, and I see a future where OData will be as popular as OpenSQL, right? Like OpenSQL is the go-to standard for dealing with your databases. Many of the major database vendors support OpenSQL. Similarly, I see many of the major technologies supporting OData. To implement this OData, SAP has actually developed something called a NetWeaver Gateway component. So if you want to expose your business data via OData, then you need this NetWeaver Gateway component installed in your system. I won't be talking in detail about this NetWeaver Gateway because that's beyond the scope of this training. I won't be discussing all the configurations you need to do or how to install this NetWeaver Gateway. That is more of a basis topic. What I'll be discussing in this session is how you can write your programs to expose your SAP systems data as an OData service. SAP also provides a tool called NetWeaver Gateway Service Builder, using which we can add our RFCs or BAPIs as an OData service. So we'll be seeing all of that. To access this NetWeaver Gateway Service Builder, we use this transaction SEGW. If you go to this transaction SEGW, this is the NetWeaver Gateway Service Builder. Here you can create a project, and within this project you can create your services. Basically, using this OData, you can perform this CRUD operations. OData is a RESTful API. So by calling various methods, you can perform create, read, update, delete, and query operations. So what we'll be doing is, let's say you have a sales order, and if you want to create a sales order, so if the external application should be able to pass the details about a sales order, and that sales order should be created in your SAP system, then we'll create one BAPI or an RFC, and we'll attach that to a create method of our OData service. So the external front-end application developer can call this create method of the OData service and pass the relevant information. Then it will trigger one function module, remote enable function module, or a BAPI in your SAP system, and post that data in your SAP system. Similarly, if the front-end developer wants to read information about a particular document, then he'll call the read method of your OData service. And for updating an existing sales order, you can call this update method, and for deleting, he can call this delete method. And query will return all the available records. Okay. For example, if you want to relate this to OpenSQL, you can think of query as select into table, where you are selecting all the documents that are available in your system and returning that information. So it will return all the records. That is query. But if you want to read a particular document, then while calling this method, you can pass the document number, and this will return that particular document's information. It is more like a select single. right? So this is more like select into table if you want to relate it to OpenSQL, and this is more like select single. And create is, again, you get all the data and you can post that in your SAP system. And update is, again, the caller will pass one document number that he wants to update, and he'll pass the information about that document, and you take that information and update that particular document in your system. So when I'm developing this update function module, for example, I will check if the document exists in the system, and if it exists, then I'll use that information, apply certain validations, and update it in my SAP system, right? And when I get a request for query, I'll pull all the data about that business object and return all that information to the caller. So we'll develop a few function modules to perform these operations, and then I'll also show you one example using a BAPI so that you can understand. So if you want to expose an existing BAPI via OData, I'll also show you how to do that, and I'll also show you how you can develop your own remote enabled function modules for your custom requirement and expose them as OData services. First thing you need to do is you need to create a project. So I'll click on this create button, give some name for your project. Let's say zdemo underscore example something, and give some description, and leave the other options to its default values. And under package, you can either keep it under a package if you want to transport it, otherwise you can click on this local object. And here you have this data model, service implementation, and service maintenance. So you'll be doing three things. First, you'll be defining the data model, and then you'll be registering this with the NetWeaver gateway service under the service maintenance, and after that you'll be maintaining your implementation. So you'll be maintaining all these CRUD methods. To define the data model, you have few options. If you right click on this and click on import, so you can either define the model from a file or an ABAP dictionary structure, or from a RFC, or from a search help, right? So you basically tell what are the parameters I'll be using with this service, right? So you'll be defining the structure. So that structure I can pull from my RFC that I've developed, or I can give a structure reference. And then later, when you are creating these methods, create, update, delete, then you'll be mapping your interface parameters with this data model, right? So you can select this option, RFC, so that you can use that structure, and you can create different data models. So if you are creating different entity sets within your OData model, then for each entity set, you can define different data models. So we'll go through this step by step. Here you give some name for your entity, let's say MATDESC something, and here I can either give the RFC that is existing in my local system or a remote system. If I'm selecting remote system, we have to provide something called RFC destination. For each system, there is a RFC destination maintained. This is done by the basis consultants. So if you are trying to access an RFC that is existing in another system, then you need to know the RFC destination name of that. So if you can ask your basis consultant, and he'll provide you that and give that name, then it will recognize the RFC that you provide here. So again, here I have two options. Either I can take the BAPI from the business object repository that is added to the business object repository, or I can directly give the RFC name. So I'll select this RFC, and here I'll be giving the RFC name. Before that, we'll create one RFC. So let's say zdemo mat get list. So I'll use this for the query method. And again, like when you're developing with BAPIs, make sure these function modules that you are developing are remote enabled, and all the parameters are passed by value, as well as refer all your parameters to fields of a structure. Don't refer them to data elements directly. So for get list, we don't need any importing parameters. I'll be just exporting one table. So first let's create a table type. We have created this structure, and I'll be creating a table type based on this structure. So this structure we have created when we discussed about BAPIs. And if you want to see, I'll show you. So this is a structure we've defined, and these are the three fields of that structure. And I'll simply create one table type, because the query method will return all the records. So I need to have something which can store multiple records. Let's say table type. If you are jumping directly to this session without going through the previous sessions, kindly go through the previous sessions on ABAP Dictionary internal tables, because all these things have been discussed previously. So here I'll give this and activate. Now for my RFC, I'll say type this. So it won't have any importing parameters. If you want, you can keep one importing parameter as limit or number of rows, so that when they're calling this query method, they can pass the number of rows they want to see, and accordingly you can restrict your selection. But I'll ignore it. So here I'll write the query select, let's say data lt underscore gst12 mkt type standard table of. I'm using this table we have defined previously to play with it. So if you see this table, so this is the table we are using, and this has some data. So what I'll be doing is, I'll be in the query method, I'll retrieve data from this table and expose it. In an update method, I'll update the data into this table, just to give you an idea. So this is the data in this table, and since we don't have much data in that table, I'll write the select without where clause. But if you're processing too much data, then make sure you at least have one importing parameter to limit the record. So if they're passing the value, you limit it to that value. If they are not passing the value, then you at least limit it by hard coding. So let's say I can say select star from gst12 mkt, or I can ignore this. I'll ignore the MNDT field. Except MNDT, all the fields are there in my structure. So let's ignore this. So I'll say select star from this table, or instead of star, I'll say select Matnar Spras MAKT X from this table into table MAT underscore DSC up to, let's say, 50 rows. So I'll limit it to 50 rows. Activate. So when this function module is called, it should return I should make it pass by value. Now when I execute this, it will return all the records from that table. So we'll be using the same structure for query, update, delete, and change. So I'll use this function module as a reference to define my data model for this OData service. So here I'll give that function module name, click next, and it will list. So here it will display the structure. I want all these fields to be part of the data model, so I'll select all. Otherwise you can select only the fields that you want. When I show you an example with BAPI, I'll show you that also. Click next, and here you define your key. What are the key fields? So for material and language are the key fields. So I'll select these two as the key fields. Click finish. Now the model is defined, there are no errors. You can click on this button here to generate the runtime objects. So what it is doing is, it is creating one provider class and one service registration. So click OK. So whatever is required at the back end, this wizard will take care of. You don't have to do anything. Simply add your RFC and it will take care of generating the required classes. So our model is successfully generated. Now if you expand this, if you see the entity sets, we have this mat DESC set, and you can see it contains this. And here you can update. This set should be used for create, update, delete operations. You can select it here. Then once you define your model like that, if you want to define another model, you again right click, import, and again define another model. For example, let's say if you are dealing with header and item data of a sales order, then maybe you want to define two models, one for header and one for item. And then if you click on the service maintenance, you have to register this service with the NetWeaver gateway. So click on this button here. It says you will be redirected to the selected system. Say yes. Currently the registration status, if you see, it is grayed out. And here you can give the system alias. For example, if your backend system is a different system and you're creating this OData service in another system, then whichever it should be your backend system where the data is, you give that system details here. So that system should be configured with your NetWeaver gateway, and from F4 you can select that system. Otherwise, if you want this system to be your backend system, then give local as the name and click OK. And here the important thing is you have to note this external service name. So this is the name of my external service. Using this, we'll be calling the OData services. So I'll save this here. Click on local object for package assignment and click OK. So here you see that the registration status is success. It's showing the green mark. If your system is not configured properly, then you may get some errors. So in that case, you have to contact your basis consultant to ensure that your gateway, NetWeaver gateway component is correctly configured with your SAP system. And then once the registration is success, all you have to do now is implement these services. So under service implementation folder, my entity set is displayed, and here it will display these different methods. So we have this create, delete, read, query, and update. So if you want to map a BAPI or a remote enable function module to query method, right click on this and click on this map data source, and here you select remote function call and give that function module name. Our function module is this, and click OK. Now it will display the fields from the data model on the left hand side, to which you should be mapping your source parameters, the function module parameters. So if you click, in fact if you click on propose mapping, since we use the same RFC for doing our data mapping, it will automatically do the mapping. Otherwise you can drag this field and drop it here manually. Okay, so our mapping is complete. Now I'll click on this generate runtime objects. So everything is green, so no issues. Now to test this, what I can do is I can go to the service maintenance, click on this gateway client, and here this is my service name which I saved here, OData SRV, and if I hit enter, it shows response score 200, that means it's success, and it is showing me the format basically. You can also use this $meta data, either hit enter or click on execute button. Metadata basically gives you all the information about the different entity sets that are available in this service and what are their parameters or fields. So for example, it is telling me that there is an entity set with MATDESC and these are the properties. So we have material field, language field, material description field. So if you want to understand what are the different entity sets available for a particular OData service and what are their parameters, then you can check the metadata. And if you notice here, it is also showing my server URL. It's not showing here. In the previous case it was showing. So if I click on back, here if you see, this is my server URL. So if I copy this, underscore SRV, and if I open it in my browser, and if I say $metadata, it will ask me to log in. So it is showing me that information. So I can access this from a external application from the outside world, right, using this URL. Now it supports different actions. So we've just added the query method. So if you want to call that query method that we mapped to the entity set, then I have to pass that entity set name. So if this is MATDESC set. So here if I pass this, then it will by default call that query method and it should return us all the data. Okay, so it has called that function module and it is returning me all this data. So if you want to check, I can keep a breakpoint here. You have to set an external breakpoint. So keep your cursor here and click on this button, external breakpoint, and it will be set for the user ID. So make sure when you have accessed it from the web browser, you logged in with the same username. Now if I call this, you can see it has loaded this debugger and it has stopped at this. So whatever data I am selecting into this table, will be passed to that OData service basically. So it will return all this data. So if I click on this, so you can see all this data is returned. Now if you want to read only one particular material information, then this query method will return all the data from that table. Then if I try to restrict it, for example, if I try to restrict this by saying this entity set, and if I pass these details, material equals to this and language equals to that, you can either test from the browser or I can also test it from here. So here also I can pass that C set so it's returning, and if I want to restrict it by giving that information, then it will return 500 error saying that not implemented in the get entity is not implemented in the provider class. For this to work, you have to implement the read method because we are restricting it by particular material. So what we'll do is, for this read, get entity read, we'll develop another RFC. I will name this get detail. Click create. and we'll make it remote enabled. And for this I'll use the material type, and you should be referring it to this structure. So I'll refer to this structures material field, and pass by value, and language type the structures language field, and we'll export that particular material. This structure. Now here I'll write select single matnr spras maktx from this table cst12 underscore makt into mat underscore data, where matnar equals to material and spras equals to triangle. And again, when you are developing these RFCs, you can also have a return structure like in BAPIs, so that you can send any messages. So I'll be mapping this function module for the read service. So here I'll right click, map data source, remote function call, give this BAPI or RFC, and I don't need to define the data model again because all of them are using the same data. So if you click on propose mapping, it is not working automatically because this structure is having some different parameters. So in this case, what we can do is we can map this material field importing parameter to this material field, this language importing parameter of the function module to this field, and then we'll map this structure's material description to this. Okay, so these two are importing and this is exporting. And once you do that, click on generate runtime artifacts. So it is generated. Now if I test it with this information, so you see it is calling this and it is returning me that particular materials information. So it's reading one record. So like that you can create a function module for each operation and map it to that respective method. And in this test window, on the left hand side is your request, on the right hand side is the response. So if you want to pass multiple data, for example, for create, if you want to call a create method and you want to pass this different data, or if you want to pass data from an array, then you can create the XML file format. So you call the query method, copy this, so you can copy this to this window and make the necessary changes and make the request, so that it will use the information you are providing on the left hand window to do it just for testing. But generally, since these services are consumed by external applications, they'll be having their own libraries to consume this data or work with these services. But for testing, you can do that. So this is your read method. And similarly, if I want to have one create method, then I can create another function module for that. So let me quickly copy this. So I'll say create, and here I'll cut this and I'll keep it under importing, and we'll remove this. So they'll be passing the material information via this structure, and in my source code, let me make it pass by value. In my source code, all I have to do is define one structure, let's say lt underscore zst12 makt type zst12 makt, and I'll map this matnar equals to mat underscore data's material lt underscore spras equals to lt maktx will be equal to mat data matl underscore desc, and then I'll say modify, or you can say insert. You can also write the logic to validate. If that material already exists, then you don't you simply send a error saying that it already exists. Otherwise, if I use modify, if it exists, it will modify, otherwise it will update, which we shouldn't be doing because this is a create service, so you should ideally only be creating. If they want to update, they'll be calling the update service. So we'll use insert. I'll say insert zst12 mkt from lt underscore zst12 mkt. Okay, and after this, if I want, I can write if size of bars is not initial, and then fill that return structure and send them a message saying that this record already exists. Now what we'll do is we'll map this to our create method. Map data source. And here I'll be mapping material to material, language to language, and material description to material description. So it is generated. Now we'll call that read method. I'll copy it here and paste it. Remove these extra lines, and I'll change it to, let's say, 300 100 new description using OData, and we'll change it to post and execute. So here you can see we got the response 201 created, and this particular material is created. If you want to see the table, the structure, execute, so you can see that 300 100 is created, right? So if you want to keep a breakpoint, okay, my GUI is hanging, so let me re-log in. It is working now, I think. So if I keep an external breakpoint here and run my service, and this time we'll pass, let's say, 400 100, execute. So you can see it is calling my function module, and all that information is passed to this structure, whatever you passed, and we are updating that in our database table. So this is your create method. Similarly, you can create one function module for delete, and for calling delete you use this delete method, right? So you pass the key fields. You don't need to pass all the three fields. You just pass, like the read method, you have the importing parameter as material number and description, only the key fields, and once they call that method, using that you can delete the record from your database table. So this is how you can perform these various operations. So the external application developer simply needs this request URI, okay, and he would need a fully qualified domain name. For example, here, so this is the whole server address. So you need to share this link with the external developer who can use it to map in his application. Now I'll quickly show you how you can do the same thing by using BAPIs also. So we'll use this BAPI. So even if you are using the NetWeaver trial version, you should have this BAPI in your system. So we'll use this SO get list BAPI. So I'll do the same thing in my project. I'll first import the data model and give, let's say, EPM-SO remote function call, give this, next, and here obviously it has lot of fields. I don't need all these fields, so I'll only select from header, let's say SOID created by, currency code, gross amount, net amount. So I'll just select these fields for header. So we'll create one for header and one for item. So I'm first defining the data model for the header, and in this I'll make this SOID as the key field. You have to click it exactly at the center, only then it will work. Now I have another service entity, EPM-SO set created under service implementation. We have it under data model also. Now for this, again I have these methods. So for query, I'll map that RFC. So remote function call, this, propose mapping. So if you are using the data model from an RFC and if you are mapping the same, then propose mapping will automatically map it for you. And then generate. So I should have named it SO header because this is for header. So similarly you can create one for item. So it's generated. Now if I look at the metadata about my service, sorry, I should say get. Here you can see we have this mat DESC and EPM-SO. So if I call this EPM-SO set, so it is returning me all that sales order details. So sales order 570s 1, 570s 8, 2, right? So all the records it is returning, that BAPI. Similarly, if you want to read only one record, then you have to map the read. So for that we'll be mapping get detail BAPI. So I'll map this BAPI to read a single record. And here I'll map SOID to SOID. So this is an importing parameter. So I'll map this SOID. So So this is within a structure, so you have to map the field, and then from the header we'll map this created by currency code, gross amount and net amount. So once you finish the mapping, generate. Now if I pass this, there's only one importing parameter, the document number. So if I pass this, it should return me that document details. So it has written me that particular document details. So similarly, you can use other BAPIs available for this business object. Create BAPI to map it to the create method, and delete BAPI to map it to the delete method. Okay. So even if you see, mapping your BAPI or an RFC to the NetWeaver Gateway service is not complicated. The wizard is doing all of that for you. You just need to follow the steps. The complicated part is developing this BAPI or developing that RFC to achieve that functionality, right? So again, as a backend developer, if you are working in the front end, and if you want to be comfortable with the backend part, then you need to be comfortable with ABAP basically, right? So once you're comfortable with ABAP, then you should be able to develop these RFCs for each requirement and map them. So that's your OData services, right? And sometimes when you add new entity sets to your projects, the metadata won't be updated. So you see that entity set here, but when you try to call it, it doesn't work. So in that case, if you go to the service maintenance and click on maintain, on the screen you can refresh the metadata. Click on this button, load metadata, then it will refresh so that you'll be able to access it. So sometimes you have that error to an existing project. If you're adding new entity sets, then it won't be updated in the metadata, and if you try to access that entity set, it will give an error saying that it doesn't exist. So in that case, simply reload the metadata. So that's about your OData services. See you in the next video.